You walk in there and you sit down for like 5 minutes and you're like, this is stupid, this is boring. Like, what's the big deal here? Have you ever had that experience?
Yes.
Okay. That's how we experience the Bible as Catholics most of the time, because where we primarily hear it is at Mass. And when we hear a story from the Old Testament about all these weird names and weird places that we've never heard of, you just kind of zone. Can anybody tell me what the Old Testament reading was about this morning? My point exactly. You didn't even hear it.
It was so quick.
It was so quick. What you're hearing is you're hearing a part of the story. But if you forget the big overall plot, then that little part of the story makes no sense at all. And it seems completely irrelevant. On this last talk today, I want to talk about the story and God's plan for us. Because if you're taking the Bible timeline study, this is going to be very helpful to you. It's going to help you see the big picture of the story. But I want to give in a nutshell what God's plan is, and basically why you're here today, that little piece of the puzzle that Father Lappy talked about. It's going to be hard because we're going to talk about God's plan here in just like 10 or 15 minutes, and God's got big plans. But I want to start from before the beginning. Notice I said from before the beginning. A little bit with what Tim talked about God not being, God being love. We've heard that. So we have to first of all ask ourselves, what does love mean? I love pizza. I love Lord of the Rings. What does it really mean? It means to give of oneself for the good of the other. And love is by nature creative. And we, as Catholics, as Christians, have a unique understanding of God that sets us apart from the Jews and the Muslims. Even though we believe in one God, we believe that God is a Trinity. And I saw that on the video. Somebody said that they don't get the Trinity. It's the deepest mystery of our faith, and every time we make the sign of the cross, we profess our belief in the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost. It's the most basic part of the Christian faith. So, it's very important to understand, as John Paul II said, that God is not a solitude. He is a communion of persons. In a way similar to how we are a communion of persons here today. We are all human beings. At least I think we are. That's why we require a birth certificate to get confirmed. So, Colin, you are fully human. What does it mean to be human?
Who said so?
You said so. Okay, well, let's see.
No, who said so?
Who said you were human?
Yeah.
Okay, I said you're human.
All right.
You have a free will. You are both spirit and body. You are created in God's image. And so is everybody else. We all share a common nature with Colin. Yet, Colin is a unique person. He has his own center of consciousness, which is a mystery. No, seriously, he can make decisions. We can't really force Colin to do anything. We could force him to do some things, but he is a free person, just like we all are. Now, if I said today that after this retreat, there is a helicopter waiting on the other side of those woods there, and it can take us to anywhere in the world. It's going to take us to a jet, and that jet can take us to anywhere in the world. We would have to make a decision here on where we're going, because it can only go one place. So, Austin, where would we go?
Google Maps.
Your house. That's lame. Emily, where would we go? Hawaii. Bethany? Rome? Nathan? Manchester. Okay, 4 different people, 4 different answers. I suspect that we would have a little bit of trouble deciding where we would go. Now let's pause, hit the pause button right there, and then let's talk about God. God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are also of similar nature in the way that we are of the same nature, in the same way that we're of the same nature. But we're human. What kind of nature is God? Divine nature, yes. So he's almighty, he's all-knowing. He is not limited by space and time. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, they all have that divine nature. And yet they are three unique persons. They're not just a blob. They are three unique persons with three, if you will, centers of consciousness. Three free wills, if you will. And but yet they are one. And they are one in a way that we're not one yet, although this is where we're headed. The Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit are one in love. And they always will the same thing, or agree the same thing. Now, where we would have trouble coming up with where we're going to go with that jet airplane, we'd probably argue. Some of the strong personalities, as we would call them, would come out in this group, and we would see, we'd have some dissension. Maybe we'd break up into factions. God's not like that. When the Father said, I want you, Spirit, to move upon the waters to create the world, did the Spirit say, are you serious? You want me to do that? Or when the Father said to the Son, I want you to go become human, to become man in the womb of the Blessed Virgin Mary. I want you to die for these people which we created in our image. He didn't say, well, Dad, that's kind of asking a lot of me. I'm not so sure I'm going to do that. In fact, I'm not going to do it. He didn't rebel. There's perfect love. But yet there is free will there. And the Son was not forced by the Father to love. And the Holy Spirit, which is the essence of the love between the Father and the Son, and so real that it's a person, and He's a person, the Holy Spirit's a person, they are three free persons. And why would they have needed to create? Why would they create if they had this perfect communion of love within the life of the Blessed Trinity before the creation of the world? Did they have to create? You might want to venture a guess. No. The answer is no. They didn't have to. Because then it would be free will. Were they bored? Kind of sitting up there like, well, let's just have some fun. Kind of like what's that game? The Sims? Yeah. Let's just make our own world. No. They created freely out of love. Love must have that freedom. And as Father Lappy said, as Tim said today, we too have that image of God in us, of freedom. We have to choose to love. And nobody can force you to do it. So, if I were to say freedom is doing whatever you want, would you say that's true or false? False. It's not doing whatever you want. Freedom is the ability to do the good. And what has happened to us humans, this is a part of the story. God created us, He gave us free will, and what happened next? We misused that free will, and we chose the easy way out. We chose to mistrust God. We chose our own way instead of God's way. And so now we have concupiscence, we have original sin. And that affects our lives every day. It darkens our intellect. It darkens our will. And so, but from the very beginning, and all throughout the Old Testament, God's been trying to win us back over. Even in Genesis 3:15, after they fell, He promised a Redeemer. And throughout the Old Testament, we see that there is this promise of a Redeemer. Now, I'm not going to go through all the Old Testament stories today. We don't have time. But I want us to start thinking a little bit bigger when it comes to the Bible. When we hear about a passage, we ought to say, how does this fit into the big picture? How does this fit into God's plan of salvation? How does this point to Christ? For example, Cain and Abel. We saw that on the little clip there. Right? So, one of them offered a righteous sacrifice. They offered their first fruits. That would be Abel. And then Cain just kind of offered what was left over. This is a foreshadowing of God the Father who gave His best, who gave His Son. We have the sacrifice of Isaac.